So you're saying that where we are and the concerns that have been put forward by the environmentalists and many community groups, you believe NEPA shouldn't have approved the contract given or the lands given to check. That's what you're arguing.
Yes, there should not. I mean, listen, even by NEPA's standard, NEPA admit that, by using data, that a third of the watershed in Jamaica are degraded. All right. The Raya is one of the largest watershed on the island. If you have an issue with your watersheds in the country, supply clean water to your population, why would you allow building and development on watershed? I mean, it doesn't make any sense at all. You're going to take out a commission, impact water security of the nation, when we're having so much water problem in our country. I mean, you go take out a secondary forest. I mean, you're going to take out all of that biodiversity, all of those trees. We're talking about the North Coast here now, where everything on the North Coast is being ripped apart and sold off. You jump out of a plane in Montego Bay and you drive come on Ochi, the whole coast is ripped apart and built out. And across the road from the coast, now them start dig that out too. I mean, there are consequences to this. This is consequences, environmental climate change consequences. So an environmental agency never approve development like this on a watershed.
Yes.
That has too much impact as it relates to water security. They have identified over 15 species of plant that are endemic to that area. You take those out, they're not going to exist anymore. So we're dealing with ecocide here. We're dealing with killing nature here. These are the things that's happening. I mean, when we went to the site to protest, the work has begun, and there is not even the display of a permit from NEPA on the site. Normally, when a site is, give a permit from NEPA, that site, that environmental permit must be displayed. It's not on the gate. And the environmental agency did not act and move and say, shut your operation down. You need to display your sign there.
So I want to ask you a question, Doc. Are you against Chinese development?
No, and it's a good question, because we do not want to appear, which we are not, xenophobic. All right. There's a very, historical and strong, Chinese community in Jamaica. I mean, so we're not positioning ourselves that way. We're not xenophobic. But what we are against as an environmental justice organization is the development of projects that are, environmentally damaging, projects that are socially damaging, projects that destroy our ecology, project that destroy the, the rich archaeological history of Jamaica. And that's what we're standing up against. So we are not against no development, Chinese, Caucasian, you name it, but to protect the resources of the land that our, heroes fought for. Some of them we know, some of them we don't know, to liberate Jamaica from slavery. I mean, we have to protect the resources of the land.
But I want to talk to you further about what is happening with the agreement with Czech, because a part of the agreement that Czech had with the government of Jamaica of the day is that they're going to build a highway, but they were to get acreages of land. Are you concerned about that?
Well, we are concerned. This is one of the most, confidential of agreements that the Jamaican government, have entered into. No environmental organization, and I don't know any other NGOs have seen the content of that. And there are several people through ATI have tried to really see what was in the Jamaica government check deal. That check basically build that, North Coast Highway, and they're entitled to, I think, 1,200 acres of land, anywhere in the vicinity of the highway. Anything that is built in that space is owned by check. They don't pay taxes on it. It's that highway is a 60-year lease. Every billboard that is put up there, any hotel, any gas station, anything that is built there is tax-free, and only check can build there. So they have revenue over 1,200 acres of land along a highway in Jamaica for 60 years, peer freeness. So the highway wasn't free.
So literally is a form of neo-colonialism.
It is. Them gateway for this road here, where less than 1% of Jamaica can drive. And I don't know when last you go on it. I must about 20 US from Kingston to come down on a drop. So not many Jamaicans, use it because it's very, very expensive.
No, but you said something just now that 1,200 acreage of land, the government of Jamaica don't have right to tax it.
Yeah, that is what I've read. So anything that they build along there, it's freeness.
So that means that the Chinese can come and build hotels in that space.
Yes, anything. Motels.
They can come build plaza. Them can come build communities.
Yes.
So is a Chinese community within Jamaica them could build it?
They can build, everything, anything that they want to build. As I said,
wow,
we are not aware of the contents. What were all, that was given to them. What is in that contract? And all they are privy to.
What is in the contract that we don't know about tonight, Dr. Taylor?
I don't know any contract. All we know is that them a transfer 167 acres. And it's not only there too. There is another 25 or 27 acre directly connected to the beach that has always also been transferred to them in that same vicinity. That is also one of my childhood beaches, and Steertown and all the surrounding community have lost access to that. So sometimes when you hear the government say that they want all Jamaicans to have access to beaches, right? The government, this beach that sits right east of Old Fort Bay, over 27 acres, was transferred to check as well. A fence was put up, gate lock up, dump up, security guard over there with dog and gun, and nobody from the communities around there can go on that beach anymore. Lockout, blackout. That was transferred to check. Some serious thing are going on.
So they have access to the beach.
Yep.
They have access to 1,200 acres of land.
Yep.
And they have access to the next 167 acres of the housing project, the Roaring River that them taking over.
Well, that's part. The 167 is a part of the 1,200 acres. And the 27
so
acres.
The 1,200 acres of land that them have, isn't that prime real estate?
Yeah, man. It's prime real estate. Now, listen. The Roaring River Great House also sit on that 167 acres. So them get the Roaring River, which in the EIA, they're going to change the course of the river.
So what you're saying, the Chinese going to change the course of the Roaring River. So where they're planning to put the Roaring River to go?
Them think a good question. These things were not spelled out in the EIA. These are concerns that we have, because you have to do that in order to accommodate that 834 houses that they're building there. People who don't know it, all of my brethren them from Steertown, Chalky Hill, Davistown, they know that land very well. We grew up in them lands there. It's a very wet area. Lots of tributaries, lots of rivers, all tie into each other.
So you're saying that the area that them going into is watery area that is not like it's really dry area, it's water.
It's a composite of dry and wet area. It's a rich forest area, Lots of streams sits inside there. I mean, there is a hydroelectric plant that sits right in front of that property that the rivers feed into. Right? I don't know how they're going to manage that as well. It is an ill-advised, unsustainable project. There's just too much going on in that area. As I said, it's just a rich forest, whole heap of river inside it. I mean, the heritage of the space is very significant. You could move this project to anywhere else. Why this? Why you have to put it there? I mean, it's not necessary. Jamaica, it not necessarily that 834 houses be built on our watershed. Not necessary.
So these 1,200 acreage of land that we're talking about, you know of Jamaicans living there?
There's no, it's a forested area. No Jamaicans living there. We just, the closest community is Steertown. So Steertown, you know that space very well. It's a space as a youth. You go check out the rivers, them, you know what I mean? You go pick up some coconut, you harvest some herbs in them spaces there, you know what I mean? The community uses it also. Several of the bathing holes are used as baptism holes, you know what I mean? When we have water issues in Steertown and Chalky Hill, people go in there, use water from the rivers, you know what I mean? So yes, it is very important, you know, to the communities in and around. And the community now will lose access to that space. There's something that is...
Well, is this the space we're talking about?
That is the space that we're talking about right here. That's the space. So if you look at this...
So wait, Doc. So them have access to sea. So this is the beach you're talking about.
Yes, across there is to the beach. Yep.
Steertown. But that is significant. Oh, and see the board. My Lord.
Now, I want to point something out.
I said this is very close to Duns River.
Well, you see Duns River right next door to it. And Duns River is listed this year, I think March of this year. Duns River is now an ecological sensitive area. Now, how can you have...
What do you mean by ecological sensitive area? Sensitive meaning vulnerable?
It's vulnerable. It's a rich forest. It's sensitive to any kind of degradation, meaning, you know, anything if you cut the trees down, if you pollute the rivers, you know, anything to affect the ecology, you know, will impact Duns River and will impact the watershed. There's a watershed known as a water treatment plant known as the Bogue treatment plant that is fed by the hydrology and the aquifers in this area. And that serve the entire...
That is why the Chinese want all of these waterlands, you know.
Well, you know, the land is important for water security. It is important to mitigate climate change because it's a forest. We deal with carbon sequestration, right? We push back against rising temperature. You cut down trees, you know, you open up with more increase in temperature, less water, less biodiversity, which is very important. It is just too much of a important environmental, ecological space. And the economics of it, as we say, keeping it intact, prevent us from further dealing with fallout that we have got to spend money deal with. I cannot understand why this is done. I mean,
could it be that they plan to privatize some water the Chinese plan to do some privatized water projects in Jamaica? Have you heard of any such rumors or allegations?
No, I have not. But this will impact water security for the center.
Can the environmental groups get an injunction be taken out on the government or the Chinese people? Is that possible or what?
Well, we're looking at all our options. Legal options is one of them. You know, we are doing, and we give thanks to accommodating us in terms of doing this advocacy, because we really need the Jamaican people to really, you know, write to NEPA, contact them MP, write to the government to ask them to stop the project.